So what we're going to look at today actually, after knowing numpys and seeing arrays manipulation using numpys. Now what we'll do, we'll install pandas uh, using our terminal, and what we are going to use, we're going to use a data set in in pandas. We are going to create a data set. So first, in our projects setup, let us create a folder, uh, and in this folder, let's call this folder now. In our projects, so we have all this. So let's create just a folder, not a file. Let's create a folder, and in this folder, uh, let's call this data. This is the data folder. Now that, and we can rename this to be analysis. So what we would have analyzed as analysis dot py. Now what we can do also, so inside our data we can create a CVS file, and let's call it cells C, a CVS file. Now in our cells.cvs, let's put up about some cells for 26 shop, and just come here and we save all this. So that's just a simple way. Now what we can install also is a matplotlib. I have not yet installed matplotlib, so install matplot library, which will help us in it will help us in a very simple step, which is visualization of our data. Through matplotlib we can be able to visualize our data. So if you're seeing this for the first time, if you are seeing matplotlib, or so what I've installed here is pandas and matplotlib. So if it's your first time, before we continue with a bit of a project so that you can help us understand how you can use this, I give you a brief introductions of pandas. We'll start with pandas, and I'll be using the code there. So let's start by importing. If you use pandas, we can import pandas. Import pandas as PD, something like that. So, and since we've imported our pandas like PD, what we can use pandas, we can create a data frame. So let's have our data to be equal uh, for example, the following set of data to be our data. Now, we can have a name, our names, and then we can have our ages, Bob, Charlie, Eva, and then something like that for age and name. Now, what we can come here, we can come here and create a data frame. We can define a PD data, a data frame, data, and we print df, something like that. So if you run this code, we expect an output in the terminal. This is a Python output to be to print out the age, the name, and also to have numbers. So we have number from 0 to 1 to 2, 3, 4. And then this is an example of a data frame. But also we can use pandas to read a CSV file. Now, so that's just a brief introduction of a data frame. Now, let's say we want to read a CV file. Now, what a CVS file? What the CVS file we have here is sales CVS. Now, what I want to we'll type just something like that. Read CSV file or CSV file. Now we have our sales CSV. No, I'm really sorry here. So let me rename this to be sales CSV. It's supposed to be CSV. There we have it. Now I can also install that. Can install this extension to help us. Now, when we come here, we have the definition. We read our CSV file. Now, because we're going to print the df, we're going to print the whole df so that we see if our CVS file will be there. Let's see if the extension is already there. Now, let us run this and see if we have an expected output. For us to view, actually, we need to this used to read. So for us to view the df, we need to df something like the head. Yeah, we need to df the head, and then So it's supposed to be like that. Also, uh, what we can do the tail, print, we can do the describe for us to read the data. You can also print the info, and the tail. PDF, the tail, PDF, like that. So if we run this, expect an output. Maybe what we have not done here is we have not saved. Come to analysis.py. Now this is just simple for you to read data. So we do not have a file or a directory called sales CSV. So this is the sales CSV, and it's in the what I'll explain further how to use this. Now what also you can use this to select columns. You can use pandas to select columns. You can also use pandas to select multiple columns, to do filtering, and also to find missing values, to do count, to drop, to fill. You can also use pandas in sorting. You can use it in grouping. Just a brief definition of how you can use pandas. Now, what we're going to do next is a little bit of matplotlib. Now, I'll just delete that. So just a brief definition and explanation of how you can use pandas. Now, matplotlib, for us to use matplotlib, of course, we need to import matplotlib as pilot as plt. Now, let's say we have X. Now, we've said that it's used for data visualization. And our X, let's plot 1 to 5. And our Y 2, 3, 5, 7. Yeah, let's put our Y to be a bit some prime numbers. Now, what we are going to do is plt plot plot, and what we're going to plot actually is X and Y. With the marker 0, and also we're going to do plt. We're going let's put a title box actually. a label to the data, and also we can also put a grid line, and we finally do a PLT show. So if we run this, we expect the Python to give us a line graph. Which is with an x and y axis. So expect a line graph, and so if you see that this is a simple data analysis where we have plotted on the x-axis and the y-axis. We have plotted one on the x-axis. We have plotted 1 to 5, and on the y-axis we have plotted. I don't know if you can see this figure. Uh, you can see this figure. It shows what we have plotted. Very simple. Now, back to our code. So what we're going to do next, actually, using this matplotlib, is very simple actually. I want us to take a look at uh, this. So what we'll take a look at actually is a very simple plot. So we have plotted a line graph. Now what we're going to plot now is a bar graph. Now, so from our import matplotlib, now, so let's remove all this. So just a simple. Now what we want us to plot actually is a bar graph. Now for simple, let's do a plot and call this a plot bar. A bar, and so inside this bar, of course, not 1 2 3 4 5 6. Let's do a 10 color blue. So for that, let's just do something simple. Let's do something like a. Let's do a. Now we put a comma, and then let's do our B. Put a comma, and let's do our C. Now what we want us to do is put some braces inside this. some braces like that. Say A, B, C. And then let's put a comma. And then let's plot 10, 20, and 30 to have a total of 50. 10, comma, 20, 20, comma, 30. So then let's of course close that. We can also have all this to show categories A, B, C, and the values. And if we run this, so we expect a figure. So if we run this, if we run this, we expect something like a figure. A figure to be brought out. Now, since now what we're going to plot is a bar. Now, so in this bar, let's do something here. Bar. Category A, category B, category C, then 10, 20, and then this. Remember, I put it at 30. For it to be very simple, I'm gonna run this again. And there is a simple bar graph. So what I expect us to see is the following figure. So see, figure 1. Yeah, you can see figure 1 where it shows actually a bar graph. Simple bar graph. You can see we have a bar graph there. After we have plotted that, now this is just a bar graph. So what's next? Next we're going to do since you have done this is coding with RAL. I've done the line graph, the bar graph. Let's plot something like a histogram. And then we're going to do a scatter plot. And then we're going to do some data cleaning. explaining matplotlib. So to be very fast, so we'll remove all this. Out how to do a bar graph. Now what we're going to do is uh, we're going to plt a histogram of beans, so something like that, and then we're going to do the and then something like that. So we're going to do this histogram. Now if we run this code, expect a figure of a histogram. There we have it. So if you take a look at the figure, I'm gonna reduce this size, and then we'll have an histogram example. Now if you look at this figure, it's not that well shown, but it's a simple histogram. Now what I want to do, since it's a histogram, what we can do is we can change the color, so what we can do is we can color blue and do something like an edge black, so, so for us to make it a little bit seen. Now beans 5 color blue. Since you know how Instagram is done, we can use a matplotlib to plot a histogram. Now it has its frequency and its values. Now what also we can do a scatter plot. We can do a scatter plot. Let's do a scatter of 1 2 3 4 5 6, and then we do something like that, title, and then we have the y-axis, and then of course we show our scatter plot. So if we run this, and we have a scatter plot of dots. So you have the dots starting from there. You have that simple scatter plot. Yeah, just a simple introduction of matplotlib. Now, what you can also do in using matplotlib, you can do, suppose you can do data cleaning, where you can find missing values. You can also remove duplicates. Uh, so some of the explanatory data analysis question, you can do the average, you can find the maximum, something like the most common, the correlation and the distribution. Mhm. Now, so back to what we were doing actually earlier. Uh-huh. So back to what we were doing earlier, and since we have just have a brief discussion, and we have explained all this, and we have also come out with figures. Now, what we are going to do next uh, is we are going to load a data set, and in this data set, so what we are going to do is we are going to load a data set. So what we will use all of them. So what we will start, we will import pandas as PD, and we are going to import numpys, import numpy as np. Don't think we are going to use matplotlib for now. Now what we are going to do is we are going to read our CSV file. Now, of course, our CSV file is in data folder, and inside data folder we have the cells.csv file. Have the cells.csv file. Now, so since we can read this data, so we can print the head. I showed you this earlier, the df.head. Now let's run this, see if our Python will be able to execute. Now, if you want to read this is just a simple way of us reading this file. The date, the product, just a simple way of reading this data set, of unloading it. Now, what we need to do, and we need also to do, we need to understand this data. So we're going to do the describe, and also we're going to do the columns. Also, just above or describe, let's do the info print. Let's just do the info. Now let's just run this. Start with our head, of course. Get started with our head. Now, the info data frame, range index 6 entries 0 to 5, and the total data columns, total 5 columns, column non-null, data type 6 non-null, string. This is just an information about and a description about. We can print the columns. So we have already the count, the mean, the standard deviation, 25-50%, and the maximum. Just a simple way of we have column types and the basic statistics that we have just described the missing values. Yeah. What we are going also to do is we are going to do data cleaning. In this, we're going to clean this data. And in data cleaning, what we are going to do is we are going to find if there are missing values. So we're going to print inside our print statement to do define find if is null the sum. Now, so if you find a missing value, what we can also do after finding a missing value, is we can also replace our missing value. So what we do, we can replace our missing value by doing this. Dot fill. So this is finding if it's an NA and for NA is 0. That's a simple way. Also, we can remove duplicates, and for us to remove duplicates, we can df dot drop duplicates in our NA, and therefore this is just simple steps of data cleaning. Now you can use data cleaning using pandas and numpys. the next step, which is very important in data science, so let's just run this and see the expected output.
Plenty of times I've made six figures in a day.
So these are expected output. So type is an integer of 64, and we find an expected output. So something very important is to create columns. I'm going to create a column. And in creating columns, in creating columns, it's just a very simple and important step. Where we're going to create two columns. We're going to create this not two columns. We're going to create actually three columns. So what we're going to df and define. And let's create a column called total sales. Total sales and quantity, and the other one, let's call it unit price. Quantity and unit price. Now our data set has become more powerful because we're able to find the total sales, the quantity, and the unit price. So uh, so after doing this, we're going to do some simple analysis, and the simple analysis using Python pandas. So we're going to find the the total sales uh, sum. So in the total sales, we're going to find the sum. We define the column total sales. Total sales. versus sum. So for us to find a sum. Now also we can find the best selling product in this. Now to find the best selling product, we can group by product and the total sales and the sum for us to find the best selling product. Also, we can find the best region of our sales. Region with the total sales. Also, we can find the average sales per transaction. So this we are talking about the mean. Mm, These are simple steps of basic data analysis. If you run this, remove no. No, we'll find our error since we did not use unit price. What we did use is price. Let's run this. Same cannot perform this time. Okay. So first we remove so if you are having a problem here with the total sales, let me to fill the new not the true cells, but price. So no need for us to find the mean. We can just run this to see. Mhm. Since our total cells type, data type is a string, and that we have not add something into it, uh, it's not going to be very good. So, so for the region, east of 300, and then the south region. So if you look at our data, the south is 500, 302p, south 500, south is north. So that's the region. So this is a simple analysis. So if you do this analysis, this is what you will get. What we're going to do actually next is sorting this data. Yeah. And sorting the data, we're going to first print you can either sort in ascending or descending order. So the top shows the transaction. So we're going to look at the top cells. Mhm. And this is a simple output that we expect after we have ascended this data. Now, what you're going to do is convert our NumPy for faster calculations. Now, in our cells, we're going to create a cells array. So this is the cells array, the definition, and into the definition, we put total cells, total cells to NumPy, so that we have not values to the numpy to numpy. Now what we're going to print uh, is the main. So the previous part we were not able to find the main since since it was a string. Now we're going to find the main of the cells array. Also, we're going to find the maximum. We can find the median also, but let's just find the maximum value and the minimum value. And let's just find the standard deviation of these values. Since we're able to find the mean, the maximum, the minimum, problem right here, there should be an underscore. The page was creating a problem on our data. So let's just save this file again and then come to our analysis. Just run it again. Now, at least you can see found the error. Now what we're going to do is print the mean of all cells and then run it again. And this is our expected output. This is the expected output that you should have. So for the total cells, because we're talking 5, which is 500, we're talking to 500, 4, 2000, 2, 16, 3, 9, 1, 2, 600, and it's in ascending order. And the total cells is there, or the price is there. So we have the mean, which is 1400. The maximum value is 2500 of the total cell. And then what do we have? We have the minimum value, which is 600, and the standard deviation, which is 690. point. So data analysis is very important. Now, what we can also do is in data analysis we can convert a date column. So we can convert a date column to the date and the time, and also we can extract a month. We can extract a month from our data. And we can group this by month by printing so the first thing we have created a date column for a date, and then we have grouped them by which month. Now let's just run this and we will see an unexpected output. So if you see the month which is 01, we have 8400, and so the problem is that all this is we find the total now based on the month, and all this data is for 1 month, for 26 January up to the date 6th of January. Now so after learning all this, the last step what we are going to do is visualize this data. Now, so what we're going to do is import matplotlib. Import matplotlib, pilot as p, lt, and so after we have imported numpy as np, imported panda matplotlib pilot. So now what we're going to do is we're going to plot a graph. We're going to plot the cells by product. Now we can plot a bar graph and or a line graph, but let's just plot a bar graph first for all this. Now we can do the definition and define, then we group by product and the cells and the sum of the plot and the plot kind to be a graph, bar graph. Group by, so group by, and let's say product total cells, and define the sum and the plot kind to be a bar graph. Now, of course, now we're going to plot the title as the total cells of the product, the x-axis, the y-axis, and then we're going to plot our show. We're going to show this. Now that's for our figure 1. Now this is sales by product in a bar graph. Also, we can do sales by product for the region. So first, of course, we need to group by region. Mhm. For the region, we can do a pie graph, and then upload, and then we show. Now, this is around this. So what we expect is two figures. Figure one showing a bar graph, and figure two problem is we did use a small p for product instead of a capital P. It will have that problem. So figure one shows us a bar graph, and this bar graph shows that we were selling three things: the laptop, the phone, and the tablet. Phone had more sales, followed by the laptop and followed by the tablet. So I don't know if you're able to see this. So I'm going to reduce this by a bit, and then there you have it. So see this window, you can see this graph. And that's for figure one. Now, so let me delete figure one so that figure two appears. Now this is by the region. So if you see the north region, which is we did a 49.9%, this is a pie chart. Then we did 36.9% in the south region. Then in the west region 9.5, and the east region. Now using the sales CSV file and using our analysis, this is the analysis that we were able to come up with. We found out which product sells most, and which we have found out using the lab. We have found out the phone, and the highest region with the highest revenue. If you look at the pie chart, is the northern region. The total revenue which for the month, which is 8,400, and the trends over time. So laptops generate the highest revenue, and the northern region is the most profitable. So we can operate our project by adding a discount column, a profit column, a category column, and a month-trend graph for the top three products only. Now, for what we have able to learn, and the conclusion of what we have able to learn, we have able to learn data loading, data cleaning, data transformation, grouping and aggregation, statistical summaries, NumPy operations, basic visualization, and business insight. So the next step will be learning advanced visualization. We'll be using CBOM, using heat maps and correlation analysis, and interactive dashboard. So have a good one. This is just an introduction of data analysis, and we have learned how to use pandas, numpys, and matplotlib.